कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगी
योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार योगिराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Yogi Nath Kumar Jai Guru Raya Rama 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 Ram 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 भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। Again, one more day, one more evening twilight, the most favorable time for worship
And we, by His gracious blessing, been fortunate and blessed to be able to gather here and sing His powerful name. And in celebration of this grace, with deep gratitude, we have offered the Nama lotuses at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Right from the Deepavali day, we have been going through some of the explanations behind this great festival, the National Festival of India. It's a festival of lights. For some, it's only a lot of non-vegetarian feast and drinking. For some, it's a day for fasting and observe a regimen for the sake of some personal god. And of course, celebrating the day finally with a feast and new clothes. So at different levels, it means different happinesses to people. The highest interpretation, as given by Sri Ramana Bhagavan, we saw that when the ignorance, the false I, rooted in ignorance, the identification with the body, when that is destroyed, then the true self shines forth in all its glorious effulgence. Now, we also went through some examples how Bhagavan suddenly disappeared in the presence of a devotee who mentioned the name of another devotee who was very, very devoted to Bhagavan and completely overwhelmed by prema, the true love. Bhagavan revealed himself once again in his infinite glory of cosmic effulgence. Now, Sri Nataji's wife, Srimati Sharada, had something to narrate also, which of course, in the beginning, some time back, I have already shared with you all, but it's good to recall even now because it's contextual. Now she said that the first time she came to Bhagavan with her husband and her parivar, all the relatives, when they were seated before Bhagavan, after everybody who was concerned with their problem began to narrate, Bhagavan listened to those narrations in silence. It was a terrible problem for the whole family, and they were all agonized over it. So after their description, emotional description, Bhagavan, all that Bhagavan did was laugh and laugh. And finally he declared, so what? So what? Now, the lady, Srimati Sharada, said, when he uttered this so what, something happened to me. I was in deep agony for quite some time, and yet the minute he said, after listening to all our problems, all that he said, so what, and he laughed and laughed. Now the so what did something to me. It echoed in my heart, suddenly dispersing all the darkness inside me. And then I began to take it in a lighter vein. And then I understood that this is my mantra. Whenever I am thrown into some deep problems, all that I have to say to myself, in all earnestness and sincerity, so what? And then it became very light for me. The problem sat lightly on my head. And then was solved quickly. So you see, this too is a mantra, but we should also remember this came from the mouth of Bhagwan. Ordinarily, when we say, so what, nothing gets done. But when you remember these words coming from Bhagwan, someone no less than Bhagwan, and then you remember, okay, I have Bhagwan with me, so what? So what? I have Yogiram Sarat Kumar with me. What does it matter if I have 100 problems on my head? I have Yogiram Sarat Kumar with me. So that is it. So let us remember that this can also be our mantra in the times of great difficulties. And Bhagwan also is assured for those people who do seva to God, their problems would sit lightly on them. He said, those who do seva for this beggar, my Father would convert all their sufferings into great blessings. So let us remember. And these things we have already shared. And a word about Shri Murugesh Ji, a great ardent devotee of Bhagwan. And because he was prema, his love, it brought out the true identity of Bhagwan. Bhagwan revealed himself. Now once Shri Murugesh Ji and Shri Rajakumari Ma approached Bhagwan and sat with him, Bhagwan had a tender fruit. It's not fruit exactly, it was an unripe jackfruit in his hand. Very, very young fruit, unripe, which is generally used in cooking, making it into some tasty vegetable. It's not to be opened and the fruit is to be taken out and eaten straight away. That happens only to the ripe fruits, and they would be very tasty usually. But then all that Bhagwan had in hand was that unripe, raw jackfruit, and all the time he was making some light conversation with Shri Murugesh Ji and his wife Rajakumari. He just rolled it in his hand and then sometimes smelled it and repeated this Leela again and again. At the end of the session, he gave it to Rajakumari and said, now you can eat it straight away. You can open it and eat it straight away. To the wonder of those two, it is an unripe fruit. It still looked very much the unripe fruit it was in the hands of Bhagwan also. Now he is saying, don't cook it and eat, but straight away eat it. Naturally, Rajakumari was perplexed, but then obeying Bhagwan, both the husband and wife took it to their place and opened it. And what did they find? Ripe, very tasty, tasteful fruits. And they were so delighted to see them, and they gobbled up the whole thing. Rajkumari said later that an unripe, raw jackfruit, which was fit only for cooking, became a ripe fruit in an hour in his hands. When she said that, it struck me that we also go to our Gurudev unripe, raw, and totally unexperienced. Meaning that many of us have no deep connection with God. And we mostly go to Bhagwan to get our problems solved, mundane problems. And then the connection grows stronger, slowly, slowly, out of faith and devotion. Now you see, once we hand ourselves over to Bhagwan, Bhagwan would make us ripe, tasty fruit. All that we have to do is remember this incident with great faith and then apply it to ourselves. We have not to worry. All that we have to do is chant His name and do His seva whenever possible, and that in the right spirit, happily. The rest will be seen by Him. Didn't our Bhagwan declare often, "You do only as much as you can, the rest will be seen by my Father"? Now another incident that I recall, when I was seated there in the veranda of Sanadi Street house in a corner with depression that I had come to Bhagwan late. I was already 34, and where was hope for me? By 34, one gets set in mind. Very difficult to come out of one's background. So as I was lamenting inside, of course, Bhagwan, who always picked up others' thoughts without having to be told, was seated there near the wooden door with his legs stretched, leaning on the door and facing the outside, the road. There was no expression at all on his face, expression of any recognition of my thoughts. Yet, his hand snaked its way to the corner. There was a flower, a withered rose flower. My eyes also fell on it, and I was thinking, my God, I am like this flower, already withered. What hope can there be for me? Just then he picked up that flower. He was not even looking in that direction. Just that his hand reached out and took it in his hand, and he began to breathe into it. He just smelled it a few times, and when the end of the session came and he left me, he called me and said, "Drop this flower into my hand." And I saw, what did I see? A beautiful flower, just flowered on the plant, just plucked fresh from the plant. So I understood this is what we would become in His hands once we surrender ourselves to Him. So let us remember all these incidents once again. In spiritual talks, always incidents and ideas are repeated because we need repetition. Always we think, oh, she's saying it again and again and again. How boring. That's only for people who don't think about it deeply. But many of us need repetitions to get it deeper into our heart. This is contemplation necessary for the strength and devotion to develop towards Bhagavan. We shall now offer our today's prayer, knowing that any prayer offered to the feet of Bhagavan in this powerful shrine will be realized sooner or later. Bhagavan, we beg you again and again and again, how many million times we do not know, for your immediate divine intervention to bring forth a dharmic normalcy to the world in all aspects of life. The world as it is today is full of violence and growing enmity between people and people, countries and countries, and there is already the war going on with all its evil consequences. Not to mention the attack of new diseases and the furies of nature. It's very frightening as it is today. We beg you, Bhagavan, to bring forth peace, unity, mutual understanding and help, order, harmony, and control of diseases and nature, so that there will be once again a new hope and strength for the people of the world, for the future generations. And Bhagavan, we beg you to uproot all the negativities of the human mind that are responsible for today's world. We also beg you to reach out to all those people who have been stranded for different reasons in different places of the earth, no matter what community they belong to, what language they speak, what religion they have adopted. They need very badly your grace. They need help and protection. We beg you to do the needful, and we also beg you, for the sake of the unselfish people who have been working hard for the sake of the others, to be well protected from unhealthy criticisms and aspersion. We beg you again to promote the economy of the country and the growth in all the fields of activity, so that they reach their heights and the status of the world teacher to conduct the whole world in the path of Dharma. We beg you again to bless us for unceasing chanting of your powerful name, unbroken remembrance of your leelas and teachings, so that would all go deep into it and express themselves as actions. We seek your blessings to operate as sattvic instruments in your hands and to run our everyday life as an offering to you. Bhagavan, please bless us so that we be never caught by the temptations of Maya. We seek that ultimate peace and bliss, which is our birthright, as the Mahatmas say. But then we need to be purified. We take refuge in your powerful name and ceaseless chanting of it and joyful service without any jealousy or unhealthy competition, and that in the spirit of surrender to you. We also seek your blessings for the practice of acceptance, which would finally turn into surrender. Acceptance of what? Whatever life brings to us, be it a joy or sorrow, coming from you can only be a definite blessing for our spiritual growth and for our closer kinship with you. As we get more and more purified, we will be able to see your vibrant living presence everywhere in everything. And Bhagavan, please bless us, enable us to know that it is your sankalpa, your resolve, your will that's behind all the happenings of life. It is your grand plan that is at work for the whole world. And more importantly, we seek your blessings for detecting that hidden grace even in the most ruinous sufferings of life. Instead of lamenting that you have let us down and putting the blame on everyone else for our own failures, we should realize that these troubles, sufferings are of our own making, because they are from the past karmas. You, out of generosity and love, have promised us, for those of us who do seva to you, who chant your name, you would convert all the sufferings into great blessings. Bhagavan, please bless us to be grateful to you even in the adversities of life. We also seek your blessings for all the species of the cosmos to be lifted to a higher plane. And finally, we seek that liberation from the vicious cycle of births and deaths, for which we need to be free from the tyranny of ego, the I and mine. We should remember that we are in your hands, in your safe hands, that you, by your magic, would make us ripe fruit to be offered as prasad to the divine. Please bless us for that eternal living and eternal servitude to you, that supreme eternal entity. Jai Yogi Ram Sarit Kumar.